Hi, this is Lester Martin, and I want to share a relatively quick tutorial on how to determine the differences between two versions of the same PowerPoint slide. There are other tools and approaches that I researched, and if you're interested in finding those out, look down in the comment section of the description section of this YouTube video, and I'll reference a blog post there that kind of runs you through my requirements, some of the other strategies I tried. And definitely, if you have some additional ideas, comment them here, comment them on that blog post. That'd be helpful. That said, I'm going to focus on, again, a certain scenario and a certain set of tools. That set of tools for me was on my Macintosh. I'm using PowerPoint 2011. And ultimately, I'm going to use Adobe Acrobat Pro DC, a very expensive piece of software to help me get there. So I'm using that 30-day trial. So let me show you on screen what I have side by side is a file I call data version A and a data version B. These are taken from a presentation I delivered at Hadoop Summit 2015, and if you're interested in any of the content you see flashing on the screen, go to that blog post and you'll see, and you can get these actual PDFs because on the last page I reference the links to the videos and the slides should that be of interest. So again, back to what we're really here to talk about. I have a couple changes. I want to make sure you see them real quick. Number one, on my old slide I had a connection before content slide. On the right I go straight to this traditional Hadoop data. So in my first change I got rid of that slide. My second change happened on a slide, this one right here. That's going to be number 4 over there, number 5 there. It might be hard to see on the small text you have, but right about here I've replaced the line, this long line, with this text right here. Another simple change is on the next slide. Very similar, just replaced the content, the old content over there on the left with this content. And few more things. This one I simply just pulled out this graphic you see on the left here, so that's no longer around. And the following slide I did a little, nothing more than deleted, so the content you see right here, those 2 rows disappeared over here. So again, some pretty straightforward kinds of changes that you might see. We got 2 or 3 more, so I'll just show them to you real quick. Here I just changed the graphic. You can probably see that easily enough. And on the right after this elephant slide, let's see, get to the elephant slide, I added elephant. It goes from elephant over here to World War II propaganda film. On my side, on the updated, I inserted a brand new slide called it's a duplicate of earlier, so it's a new slide, and then they both finish up. Oh, I'm sorry, they both this one after the yellow slide on the left, on the right. So sorry. Actually has a brand new slide. It's called Totally. And then there's just a couple more slides that finish out the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 after this one. So the rest of the deck is the same. So about 8 changes that those slides that have. So what I'm going to do, again, there is some inherent tools in PowerPoint that did not work for me that well. So I'm going to not use those. In my case, I'm going to do a few more manual steps. And those involve using, as I mentioned, Adobe Acrobat Pro DC. And what I'm going to do is quickly use the tools, and I'm going to create PDFs from this tool of those same PowerPoints. Instead of allowing PowerPoint to create it, I want, since the tool here will be the one that does the difference checks, I would like it to have the best chance of being successful. So there I saved data version A. Again, that's nothing but a PDF as is of the original file. I'm going to do the same thing with data version B. So did A, did B, doing B now, create, and there we go. Yep, nothing magical. We'll save that one back to that same folder. So now what I have, and I'll go ahead and close out the Pro for a second. So now I have my 2 PDFs that were generated from the 2 PowerPoints. So I'll relaunch that same program. Should have left it open. And I'm going to use a different tool now. I'm going to use the Compare tool, which is right here, Compare Documents. And here I'm just going to pick them side by side. It'll actually say, the first one says the old, so open the older document, so that's the A PDF. You can change it, you can schedule a certain range of pages, etc. I will say that I've had, even though I mentioned I'm interested in gigantic decks, I've had some trouble getting past maybe 30, 40, 50 slides at a time, so unfortunately it does mean I have to do ranges to get the whole doc and then stitch it back together. So a lot of manual steps that I think I could automate should I implement this as part of my process and procedure. But for this size of files will be fine. Several options, it came from a presentation deck. I want more than just the text. So I'll let the diff tool do its magic. As you see on screen here, lots of progress meters. Not just one, a whole bunch. And ultimately, this is going to kick out in a few seconds here. If it all goes well, stalling for time. I think we're at the end there. There we go. So what you have on screen, and it's very difficult to see, I get, is it's kind of a report. I'll zoom in a little bit. That says, yep, this was the old file. This is the new document, version B, the old version, a little bit of basic details. And then it kind of jumps in, hey, let's get started. What's the first change? The first change was, in fact, the fact that I added that file. I'm sorry, I added a slide very early. What's kind of interesting is right out of the gate, I don't get to see that anymore. I just skips right over it. What it does do is start showing us things like on this particular side that I did a change of a replace of a line. It's probably hard for you to see, but the new text says replace the line, and then the mousing over that shows that, hey, the old text that it replaced was, the data in these tables, etc. So this can get you pretty far with this color coding of inserting, those type things. I inserted this graphic instead of that graphic. But what I found out much more useful than this is to go up to the top, right here under the compare, and then say show my documents side by side. This opens up, in fact, both of the generated PDFs. So there is a PDF for the old file with the changes that it thinks happen, and there's a PDF for the new file with its changes that it sees happen. And in fact, it's kind of reversed on us. The old is on the right now and the new is on the left. But let me go back to the top and I'll show you how it starts to look a little better. So first slide, nothing changed. The second slide is the one I inserted. And in fact, since this is the old, it kind of shows that, is that right? Comparing old. Kind of shows that this one was deleted. There we go. I didn't insert it. I'm sorry. I deleted it. So the old shows this slide is deleted. So that's fair. If we keep going, I guess I missed this change here. I actually deleted something here. I didn't mention that earlier. So you kind of see what happens. So the old had it, the new doesn't have it, and all these little color codes gives you the details. Mousing over tells me I deleted that. Since it's not here, mousing over that tells me I deleted that. Same is true for the replacing, as you see left and right, and another replace. Again, these would be very nice mouse over things. And in fact, what you're seeing, this commenting with the mouse over kind of tooltip help of the change, these are in fact in these independent, two separate PowerPoint files, and you can look at them independently and see them, the changes reflected and described from the point of view of the old or the new file. So it does offer some nice features. This is not a perfect solution, but this goes a long way, and actually was the best solution I found in the short period of time I did some research. So there's our example of deleting. That picture is no longer there. This one we deleted some text. These 2 or 3 lines here are deleted from the old, so there's a new without them. And As you can see on that one, I deleted, so in pink deleted that picture, and blue over in the new one inserted that one. So this side by side actually gives us quite a bit of help and assistance. The only gotcha that I found is that I don't get to see the net new files that were added on the right hand side. They're just not present. So the good news is you can actually independently open these files separately and see that, in fact, that yes, they're there, but it does you know doesn't perfectly solve my problem, but it really goes a long way for identifying those changes, and it really is the best solution I have. Manual steps that can probably be automated, but a visual indicator and a helpful help. So hopefully this was somewhat interesting to you, and if you got any questions or comments, definitely put them down in the notes, or again, click over to that blog post, and I'll be glad to answer questions in either place. Thanks again.